You clearly clicked on this video because you're interested in my artistic journey. Maybe it's some weird, gross kind of way. I don't know, don't judge. Leave a like. Thanks. I've been an artist for several years. I've always drawn since I was given a piece of paper and a crayon. I think I really started to get into art around 3rd grade at the ripe age of 7. Basically fresh out the womb. 7. I remember being in my first art class in 5th grade though, and that teacher really encouraged me to keep going with my art, telling me I had potential. Took those words and have been chewing and sucking on them ever since. How did you want me to do this? My main inspiration as a kid, and even now 10 years later, was cartoons. I grew up watching shows like Adventure Time, Steve Universe, and The Amazing World of Gumball, and My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. These shows showed me the beauty of 2D animation, especially frame-by-frame animation. Minus My Little Pony, because they do puppeteer like Bluey. Early in my art journey, I started drawing the characters and trying to mimic the art style. Just like any other kid, my early art wasn't very accurate. The lines were wobbly and everything was cross-eyed for some reason. There was a lot of room for improvement. I got through 3rd and 4th grade drawing cartoons most children in America grew up with. It wasn't until one day in 5th grade when I was scrolling on Netflix did I come across this show with a type of animation I had never seen before. It was sparkly, it was colorful, it had angst and girls with superpowers fighting villains in short skirts. It was Netflix's Glitter Force Doki Doki. I was hooked. In a very healthy and non-creepy way, mind you. So better off than most of the fan base. Pure Doki Doki was my main inspiration to anime. I'm forever glad that one of the first anime exposed to me was a magical girl anime. Considering the fact that there's a lot of weird ones. It opened a whole new world of animation and character design to little 10-year-old me's brain. I instantly became inspired, drawing characters from Doki Doki religiously. Probably freaked some people out. I love this anime so much that I actively drew people in this style, including my art teacher in 5th grade. It reminds me of something. Moving into 6th grade, my first year of middle school, I got my first phone. It was an old used iPhone that had previously belonged to my mom's mom. You already know this thing was running Facebook. Biggest font size, max brightness, the whole shebang. I needed more anime in my life, so I naturally downloaded Crunchyroll on this old ass thing. Back then, Crunchyroll was free, and it had a lot of free animes on it, one of those being the ever-loved Demon Slayer. I was hyper-fixated on Demon Slayer throughout middle school, and at some point, I found out people were watching anime on the computers from this wonderful website called VRV, VRV. VRV no longer exists, sadly. I don't think it was a piracy site, but they likely had to discontinue to no funding if it wasn't. I do disappear when I don't have enough money. VRV had a variety of shows, including cartoon hangover shows. I watched Parasite, To Your Eternity, and the original Bee and Puppycat on it. Bee and Puppycat took a toll on my art style and my humor. It originally had beautifully colored animation with bright, harmonious colored like pinks, blues, and purples. It had crude adult humor originally as well. Perfect for middle school me. And it contributed to my personality today. Not as funny as my editor. Shout out to my editor, dog. Around this time that I was introduced to animated YouTubers too, like Odd Ones Out and Jane Animations, I was super inspired by their art and started making animations of my own on Flip-A-Clip. All the original animation kids had Flip-A-Clip. And in 7th grade, my art teacher introduced me to flipbooks. I stuck to flipbooks until I got my own tablet after begging for one. It wasn't an iPad, but it was a Samsung tablet that worked fine. And I also happened to break it immediately out of the box. Shattered screen and everything. I used Ibis Paint to continue drawing my OCs and fan art, starting to find my own originality and beginning to make my own stories. Come freshman year, I started making comics. I loved making comics. Made a lot of mini comics, but eventually started trying to make bigger projects like Perdition in the last year. There's a lot of drawings of Luca and Gravity Falls my freshman and sophomore year, and then junior year is when my art started to get more recognition by teachers and a certain YouTuber. One day I was in physics working on my own drawing when I happened to hear my teacher, let's call her Miss H, speaking to another student about starting a Nintendo club. I had gotten a Nintendo Switch that year and immediately joined the conversation. She was only considering the club when she brought it up, but she said that she didn't have a poster for it, and she didn't know how to acquire one. I offered to draw the poster, and she agreed. Thus, the club was made. I finished the poster a day before the club started. I was given 2 weeks, I think, to work on it, and everyone loved it. It felt amazing to be able to walk down the hall and see my art plastered around the school when the other posters were either stolen images off of Google or AI. My art, mine. After our first 2 Smash Bros tournaments, my teacher pitched the idea of us making t-shirts with my art on it. My heart damn near flew out of my chest when she said the idea. Think they probably had to resuscitate me. The t-shirts arrived and my chest was full of happiness because not only did I have my art on a t-shirt, but the entire club was wearing my art. And other schools and colleges would see my art. Free advertisement. It's teachers like Miss H that really helped me in my art journey though. There was a lot of teachers who loathed me for doing art because I would sketch in class to be able to focus since I have ADHD. My handful of teachers who encouraged me is why I'm here today making this video. Throughout high school, my favorite teacher was definitely my art teacher that I had from sophomore year to senior year. She constantly got new art supplies and I was always the first to use them. One of my favorite things she said to me is that she said out of any of her students that she's had, I had the most developed art style. Even if my skill wasn't 100% at the time, I always knew how I wanted to draw. They were just stroking my ego. 8th grade English teacher helped me a lot too. She lent me books, novels, and graphic novels, and constantly talked about my art. She helped me in a lot of different ways, and I'm forever grateful for her. My senior year, for half a semester, I had a psychology class I wish could have lasted longer. This teacher had previously been my music teacher for 4th grade year, and she's one of the nicest people I know today. She also introduced me to musicals. I told her that I was having issues getting art supplies, especially sketchbooks, because I couldn't go to the store to buy them myself, and my mom refused to buy me any more sketchbooks. One day, she walks into class and silently hands me a massive freaking sketchbook. I couldn't thank her enough. I actually still use this sketchbook today. Nowadays, I do a lot more animations digitally since I got Toon Squid, which is what I animated this video on. And I really enjoy making animations. It's kind of easy to enjoy it whenever I have a program that I actually like now. I hope that someday I can do something more with my art as like a side gig, as I really enjoy sharing it with people online, and people love seeing my art. I hope to grow my audience both on YouTube and other spaces online because I want to be able to make money off of my art and have it as a side gig on my long-term plan of being a hairstylist. I love doing art and I'm never going to give it up even if I somehow lose my hands in a house fire or something. I guess I'm gonna use my mouth to draw. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. My boyfriend actually helped me edit this and did 99% of the jokes because he's 20% cooler than I'll ever be. Go check out my other socials to see more of my art. You should